So your offer is on the table and you need to be the last man or woman standing. How do you get the buyer to prefer your offer at this late stage? Well, all the hard yards have really been done. You've worked hard with your buyer to shape the concept of what problem they're trying to solve, what they need to solve that problem. You've already made your offer and helped them understand how it solves that problem. I'm not going to show you in this blog how to wrest control from a stupid bid, one that you never should have made because it was shaped by your competitors. I am going to show you in this blog how to not stumble at the last hurdle for a bid that you should be in because you shaped the need. Let's take a look at that now. In my previous blog about defining the need, I recommended that you work really hard to shape the buyer's concept of what it is that they need before they look for an offer from anybody. And also that you get all of the buying influencers involved at that stage. You make sure that they all agree what it is that's needed before the offers are put on the table, including yours. I also recommended that you get them to confirm that your understanding of the need is right. You really want them locked in. And then in the blog, also quite recently on proposals, I recommended that you replay the whole journey so that any buying influencers who come to the party late can understand the situation, the objectives, what's going to get in the way of meeting those objectives, the gap if you like, what they need, and then they can read the proposal in context. So now we just need to gain preference. That's all we're trying to achieve at this point. This is not about last-minute course corrections. This is about locking in on a path that we've already agreed. In a moment or two, I'm going to show you how we do that in Funnel Plan. But before I do that, I'll do two things. I'll share with you the conclusion, that is, how do we gain final preference at this late stage? And I'll also invite you to receive more blogs just like this. Before that though, let's go straight to the conclusion. How do you gain final preference ahead of any other options? Remember, by the way, that one of the options is do nothing. How do we gain final preference against all of the other alternatives that are on the table right now? Even though I've argued that you already should have done the heavy lifting by now, you've shaped their need, in reality we can't afford to stumble at the last minute, neither can we assume that they remember everything perfectly, particularly if the journey's been long. So you're going to do some very basic things. They're not course corrections. Remind them firstly of what's already been agreed. This is what we understood about your situation. This is what we understood about your objectives. This is what we agreed was going to get in the way of you meeting those objectives. And this is what we agreed that you needed from us or from anybody. Stop at that point, and whether you're stopping literally in a single conversation or it's a multi-meeting dialogue, stop at that point and gain reconfirmation. Is that still your belief about what you need? Once you've got that confirmation, let's now move to the next step. Let's compare our solution against that agreed need. Now clearly you're at an advantage at this point because you've shaped the need and you've got their confirmation to that shaped need. The fact that your solution fully meets that need should hardly be surprising at this point. So let's compare our offer against the agreed need. Invite them at that point to then review other alternatives, including do nothing or do it yourself, two of the ugliest competitors on the planet. Compare the alternatives against that agreed need. I know that's a lot harder in a formal tender situation than it is in an informal commercial dialogue. But frankly, all of the points that I made earlier about shaping the need early hold even more true in a tender situation, which is why responding to a tender that you haven't shaped is just sheer lunacy, candidly. Let's go back to the dialogue as we can or where we can achieve it. Ask them, invite them to compare the alternatives to review how well the alternatives meet the agreed need, having just done the same thing with yours. Clearly, the alternatives will come up wanting, because you've shaped the need to make sure that it's to your advantage. That's why we did all that heavy lifting up front. Selling becomes easy when your concept shaping is done properly at the beginning of any sale. Whether that sale is wholly online, no humans involved, or wholly offline, all done by salespeople, the dialogue's the same. Shape the need, get confirmation to it, make an offer, and now we're at the stage of sacking the competition. To do that, we're going to get all of the alternatives compared to that agreed need, which you shaped. Oops, just had to come back. I realised after viewing this that I had missed one really important point. This is an opportunity for you to offer further proof. Now, obviously, you're going to have some proof in your proposal. Always a good idea. But this is a great opportunity for you to offer further proof. But it's particularly proof of you meeting the need. You need to have a customer testimonial that evidences you having met a very, very similar need concretely. If you can't, then in the very least, a customer who believes that you met their need completely, so at least this prospective new customer understands that you've got a reputation and a habit of meeting agreed needs. It's an important confidence point at this point. Forgot to include that earlier, so I popped back in to insert this later. If you enjoyed this blog, then it's likely that you'll enjoy others just like it. If you haven't already, can I invite you to go to mathmarketing.com/blog, here it is here, and to subscribe. You can either subscribe to the twice a week blog that comes out, one of mine and one of our funnel coaches, or the once a month, which includes a wrap-up of our best blogs of the month. Now, if you've already done that, but you've got colleagues who haven't, then can I invite you, can I even ask you, plead with you, to invite some of your colleagues to subscribe also. Why don't you do that now, either subscribe or invite a colleague, come back and I'll show you how we do that in Funnel Plan. Okay, well as promised, here's how we do that in Funnel Plan. In the previous two blogs, we set tactics to make sure that all the buying influencers agree the need before the proposal is put, and that the proposal tells the whole story. We've already done that. So we really only need to add to our funnel plan that in addition to testimonials, we need to have a meeting to remind them of the need and what led to it, show them how fully we meet that need, and invite them to compare alternatives against these same criteria. In fact, let's put that added tactic in first and flow from the presentation to this review meeting, then from the review meeting to the testimonials, and we're done. I'll show you how we close deals on another day. Until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing.